The Prime Minister have titled himself Minister of Defense, Economic Growth and Job Creation. I'm trying to figure out what does it mean. Just like on YouTube, figure your brain some new food. Hello people, and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time on the channel, a special welcome to you. I ask that you check out the rest of my videos. If you like what you see, give them a thumbs up, leave a comment, but more than anything, I'm asking that you subscribe to the channel. Today's video is titled Jamaica New Government. Andrew Holness and the JLP have won the election, and it's now time for the leading party, the winning party, to form a government. So that's what has happened lately. So in today's video, I'm gonna actually be listing who has been chosen to serve as minister of this or minister of that, and who have been chosen to be state ministers, etc., etc. I was here forming a cabinet myself. What I mean by that is today's big up segment will be a little different than normal. Usually I big up about 3 to 4, probably 5 people. Today I'm gonna be bigging up 8 of my subscribers in this segment. Before I get into today's video, let me give a shout out to everybody who commented on the last video where the People's National Party are suffering a defeat and also struggling with choosing a leader for their party. My choice was Philip Baldwell, and I appreciate everybody who made their choice. Some people were saying Lisa Anna, some people were saying Damian Crawford, and other names, you know. A lot of people were asking me if I'm ridiculous to nominate Paulwell because Paulwell is corrupt in these days. I find that statement really funny. Because when it comes to politicians, you know, whether they're JLP or PNP, there's not one that I think we can point at that doesn't have a public reputation of some guilt where corruption is concerned. They're politicians. Politicians are like lawyers. Lawyers, as much as lawyers want to be virtuous and honest, there are times when in order to win a case or find a loophole, you just have to lie. So when it comes to politicians, there's hardly any politician worldwide that are flawless when it comes to being a virtuous person or someone with a clean slate. Anyway, now that I've got that out of the way, let's get into today's video. So today's video, I'm gonna list the cabinet that has been formed, the government that is formed by Andrew Holness, and their responsibilities. But before I end this video, of course, I'm gonna criticize certain things. I'm gonna criticize titles of government members. In my opinion, less is more. Sometimes more is less. So what I mean by that is some of these ministries' names are confusing and complicated, and if they just leave it very simple, then it would make more sense to the general public. When they add all these things to it, it just gets confusing. And then there's other things that I'm going to be criticized. So let's get into the juice a bit. First and foremost on the list is the Prime Minister himself. Andrew Holness was appointed himself as Minister of Defense, Economic Growth and Job Creation. Second on the list is Dr. Horace Chang. Dr. Horace Chang was the former Minister of National Security, and he maintained his position as Minister of National Security, and Dr. Horace Chang has been promoted to being Deputy Prime Minister. If I'm not mistaken, Deputy Prime Minister the last time was Desmond McKenzie. Correct me if I'm wrong. And the next person on the list is Dr. Nigel Clark. Dr. Nigel Clark was the Minister of Finance and still maintained the position of Minister of Finance and Public Service. And the next person following Nigel Clark is Senator Kamina Johnson-Smith, Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. That was her position in the last cabinet, and she maintains that position. Next in line is Dr. Christopher Tufton. He was the health minister and he still remains to be the health minister. His title is Minister of Health and Wellness. Following him is Desmond McKenzie, Minister of Local Government. I believe that was his position in the last cabinet, and he maintains the same position in this newly formed cabinet. Following him is a veteran, Olivia Babsy-Grange. Babsy-Grange is Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment, and Sports. Following Olivia Grange is Edmund Bartlett. Edmund Bartlett is Minister of Tourism. Did great in the last cabinet as Minister of Tourism, so it's no surprise that he maintained his place as Minister of Tourism. Robert Montague is next in line, Minister of Transport and Mining. I believe he had held that position before. Favour Williams is next in line, and Favour Williams has secured the Ministry of Education. Ministry of Education has been a problematic one in the last cabinet because of the Royal Reed situation, but this time it has been given to Favour Williams. Following her is a veteran, Delroy Chuck. Delroy Chuck is the Minister of Justice. Darrell Voss is Minister of Energy, Science and Technology. Following Darrell Voss is Carl Samuda. Carl Samuda is Minister of Labor and Social Security. Following Carl Samuda, next in line we have Floyd Green. Floyd Green is Minister of Agriculture and Fisheries. Following him is Audley Shaw. Audley Shaw is a veteran. He is now the Minister of Industry, Investment and Commerce. Following Audley Shaw, we got Pernell Charles Jr., someone fresh, young blood, from a veteran's bloodline. Pernell Charles Jr. is now Minister of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment and Climate Change. Following him is Matthew Samuda. Matthew Samuda is Senator and a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security. I will get into those minister without portfolio in a minute. Orlando Terrelong, Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sports. Following him, we've got J.C. Hutchinson, Transport and Mining. Following him, we've got Robert Morgan, Education, Youth and Information. Following him, we've got Xavier Maine, Labor and Social Security. Following him, we've got Dr. Norman Dunn, Industry, Investment and Commerce. Following him, we've got Marcia Smith, Finance and Public Service. Following her, we've got Leslie Campbell, Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade. Juliet Cuthbert Flynn, Health and Wellness. Following her, we've got Homer Davis, Local Government and Rural Development. Following him, we've got Everett Warmington, another minister without portfolio. He's in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Following him, we've got another minister without portfolio, Auburn Hill, a senator. He's a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of Economic Growth and Job Creation. And last on the list, we've got no other than Marlene Malahoo Forte. She was the Attorney General then, and she still is the Attorney General now. As you can see, a lot of those ministries and ministers double up. So I guess you would consider those shadow ministers or ministers in the background, kind of like what I put to ministers without portfolio. Ministers without portfolio makes no sense to me. They need a title. You can't be a minister with nothing. You know, that's like saying I'm a doctor. I have a doctorate, but I am not a doctor of anything, if you get what I'm saying. So minister without portfolio makes no sense to me. It just seemed like someone got juiced in the position. Let's use the Samuda person for example. He's a minister without portfolio in the Ministry of National Security. What does that mean? I have a job, you know, I'm an all-arounder. Someone needs to clarify that up for me. I do have a problem with the term minister without portfolio. Jamaicans need to have a problem with this, and Jamaicans need to ask questions from their government to get answers. You know, Jamaica even have to ask, like, where did you come from? I've never heard of you. Where were you born? What's your qualification? How did you become qualified to be a part of our government? Those questions have to be asked because government works on the behalf of the people. So, for my criticism goes to the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister's title kind of troubled me. The Prime Minister have titled himself Minister of Defense, Economic Growth and Job Creation. That is like, I'm trying to figure out what does it mean, you know. First of all, Minister of Defense, I thought Horace Chang was the Minister of National Security. If Horace Chang is the Minister of National Security, then Horace Chang is the Minister of Defense. So why is Andrew Holness calling himself Minister of Defense? Just call yourself Prime Minister and leave it alone. It's like you saying the boss. What's the name they called? Bro God. That's his nickname Jamaicans have given him. Bro God. So Brother God, that's what I get from it. Prime Minister make more sense. But Minister of Defense, while you have another minister who is Minister of National Security, makes no sense to me. The Prime Minister also branded himself to be Minister of Economic Growth and Job Creation. Okay. It makes no sense. You're the Prime Minister, so you're governing the country, so you already created jobs for your cabinet. That's for one. Economic growth and job creation is the responsibility of a Prime Minister. It doesn't have to be a part of your job title. Which other one should I criticize? Some of these names are just too long and they don't make sense. I think the two that makes the most sense to me was Ministry of Tourism, that was to the point, and Minister of Justice, that's just to the point. But you've got Minister of Health and Wellness. Why wellness? Health is Minister of Health. That's what it used to call when I was a child. It makes sense then. Health and wellness makes no sense to me now. Why the wellness? Why is wellness added on to it? Somebody help me. Minister of Labor and National Security. It used to be called Ministry of Labor. That's it. End of story. Why? If you are the Minister of Labor, you're the person that's in charge of employment, working in the country. And if you're Minister of Labor, then you are actually the person responsible for Social Security, work benefits, pensions, retirement funds. So why is it called Ministry of Labor and Social Security? I don't know. It's too much wording for me anyway. Ministry of Agriculture and Fisheries. Okay. Agriculture covers food, livestock, vegetable. It covers food, poultry, meat, whatever you want, food. As long as it's is consumable for eating, it's Minister of Agriculture. That's their department. So why fishery? Maybe there's something special about the fishing side of Jamaica. I don't know. Somebody tell me. Ministry of Education. Used to be called just Ministry of Education. Now it's Ministry of Education, Youth and Information. If it's Ministry of Education, yes, it's targeting the youth. And if it's Ministry of Education, it's all about information. That's what education is, information. So why the extra wording? I don't know. Ministry of Housing used to be Ministry of Housing. Now it's called Ministry of Housing, Urban Renewal, Environment, and Climate Change. Okay, urban renewal, I can see where it's clarifying certain things. So it's saying, okay, We're a Ministry of Housing. We're not just about housing, but we're about renewing the look or the platform or the grounds of the urban areas. So some conformment there. To be a minister of climate change, that's interesting to me. I'm not so sure what that responsibility requires, because climate change, if it's an act of nature, we have no control over it. The only thing we can do as ministers is report it. And if it's not being done by nature and it's being enforced by mankind and our behavior, well, I could see where that responsibility is ours to manage or to maintain, to inform the people of what they should or shouldn't do. So that one is on the fence for me. Moving on. I'm just going to leave it at this one because, like I said, I have some people to big up. Foreign affairs and foreign trade. Why foreign trade? Foreign Affairs said it all. Minister of Foreign Affairs. This is the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. It simply means anything to do with foreign, we deal with it. I'm surprised, since they're adding all this to it, I'm surprised they didn't change Ministry of Tourism to Ministry of Tourism and people who come and go from foreign. That would make sense, since they add in all this extra to it. Anyway, people, let me know what you think about this video. But before I go, let me big up my cabinet.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
I want to big up first and foremost Marva Roberts. Marva Roberts, big up yourself. You have always given me a shout out on almost every video that I post. Tony Lewis, Jamaican Diaspora, Johnny H, Jacqueline Welsh, big up yourself. Shane Shaney, big up yourself. Donnie B the Shepherd, big up yourself. And last but not least, I want to big up First Lady Rosa Maria.
Big up yourself to the maximum.
Okay, people, and that's pretty much it for today's video. Let me know what you think about this one. Of course, I could have just put all these selected senators and cabinet members on a slideshow and put some music in the background, and that would have been it in like 5-10 minutes. But I thought, let me grace the channel with my presence and big up some of my subscribers. So, as you know, my channel people, I appreciate thumbs up and thumbs down, agreement and disagreement, because at the end of the day, people, each one teach one. You've reached the end of my video, and that in itself is a support that I truly appreciate. And while I'm at it, I will take this time out to let you guys know other ways that you can support my channel. The first and simplest way that you can support my channel is by giving this video a thumbs up. And the second and most important way that you can support this channel is by hitting that subscribe button and subscribe to my channel and follow me through my YouTube journey. Other ways that you can support my channel is by going to my Teespring online store and buying some of my merch. And another way that you guys can also support this channel is by joining me in Patreon to give me a contribution to support what I do on YouTube and what I do to entertain you guys. Once again, I want to thank you guys for your continuous support and ask that you join me, Ian T. Sebast, on YouTube and see where my journey takes me. Until next time, people, peace.